Here is what it looks like driving in an interdimensional environment. First, markers will help you identify the UFO entity in this environment. For those who saw the movie, The Matrix, refresh your memories. This environment resembles that environment which displayed fast-moving environments passing a stationary environment at record speeds. This environment moves at lightning fast speeds, the same as what you viewed in the movie Matrix. Now, I have created terminology to explain the alien objects viewed. The infrastructure that you see is blocks of infrastructure coming together. Picture this: I want to build a computer room or data center with over 1,000 machines, racked and stacked with all brands, capacity, and equipment size. So, here I can pick out a sheet that has the 10 servers racked. Next I need a sheet that contain the connectors that match the 10 server rack. Next I need the sheet that contain the cooling units. Next I need the sheet that contain the backup units, and so on. Now, all of this come together and create what you are viewing. When sheets come together, they create this humongous object that I have named stencil sheet. Are you ready to build your first vehicle, your first home, your first anything within seconds? So, take in these views of your surroundings, see the biomechanical equipment that generate the trees that we see, the sky atmosphere, the clouds, the rain, the lighting, storms, and everything that we know to be generated by the heavens or the firmament or just the plain old sky. Moving on, check out the streets we drive on and look closely as we pass the truck. What do you think about the tires on the truck? I can picture us one day commuting by levitating above the road, yes, levitating above the road with no tires needed, and maybe no driver needed. Now, there is one mysterious thing that I have not been able to capture, and that is the humans driving the vehicles. Why? Because we are machine cyborg humans, and we blend into this environment. I have been observing these flying entities now for over 3 years, and I have seen some tight formation flying and no accidents. They have a bumper car type reaction. If they bump into each other, no damage is done. In this footage, a flying entity dipped down low to the road and was hit by the front driver's side wheel, and the entity just popped back up, a little dazzled, but okay. Keep watching. For more detailed views, check out my content. Here, get ready to see the spacecrafts flying in this dimensional environment. In our environment, our visual perception is limited, and these spacecrafts appear as a white fuzzy circular object. I have referred to or named this entity in this form, cotton ball. This visualization is some sort of force field distortion that the entity activates to conceal its true image. In the next views, you will see what is concealed within the projected image that you are viewing. The entities are one and the same, meaning that they are one entity that has the ability to morph, transform, or to be simple about it, they change appearances, and this is one of them. I have named this appearance flat white, although I have recognized its other shapes as cotton ball, hurricane, and Klingon. Now, take this in, every movement this entity made was in constant contact with some parts of this dimensional infrastructure. There is no empty spaces anywhere. Now, digest this information. This dimension is surrounding you at this moment and it is invisible to the human eyesight. We move in this environment the same way that you just saw the entity moving, always in constant contact with some part of this infrastructure. You know, it is a possibility that entities within and outside of our location on planet Earth know who and what we are, and we are absolutely ignorant to it all until now. As the sun beams on certain areas, you can visibly see the translucent invisible dimensional environment peeking through. I have observed this scene in many content creators' footage, local and national news, in the war zone, and also in climate events around the world all over, and as normal, humans disregard, ignore, and move on. And don't forget how many professional photographers out there that may have been disciplined for the devices capturing the images. You know our humanity is glued to dish out punishment. Take in this observation that I saw. I captured pictures of humans in this environment and the picture just being open started to render. Yes, things started popping out, and areas in the picture started recessing up or down. One photo of a human's hand and fingers morphed into a flat paddle-like representation. Yes. Check out my content, UFOs are here. Many in the population have accused photographers of many discrepancies. I saw and heard news commentators who were upset with the broadcasters and blamed the visual glitches on the physical connections, meaning that infrastructure connectors such as cables, transponders, terminators, and the likes may be damaged. Think about it. Have you complained over the visual glitches that you have seen in footage? Folks, is this not the topic of the day? Yet it is drowned out. As we move on, the entities that are directly in front of the vehicle and the very obvious spacecraft in the sky continue to be present, escorting me safely during hours of road travel. Along the way, I captured this magnificent view of smoke bellowing out of an industrial smokestack. Take in the views showing the actual activities that occur when smoke from man-made manufacturing exhausts is expelled into the atmosphere. Get a close-up view of the sky machines that do the work of sucking up the exhausts from man-made manufacturing. Yes, the machines are sucking up the exhaust from man-made manufacturing exhausts, and during something else, the smoke I believe is being what we may call being cleaned. So, where does that leave the climate change subject matter? Anybody? Anybody? See for yourself clear. Crystal clear views, footage and pictures. Check out my published content and subscribe. Oh yeah, this entity has followed my every move 24/7 for the past 3 years, and the same activity is occurring to you and everybody else on this planet. So, become aware, folks. This is what us humans call climate control. And here are the undisputed facts that are crisp and clear and shows that these are machines. And I have seen activities which suggest they control the climate. The spoonful of smoke was sucked up into this infrastructure, and next it probably was cleaned or detoxified or filtered. So, is it the smoke that enters the atmosphere from industry causing climate change or any other man-made-up justifications? Or is the source this humongous machinery that occupies the heavens, the firmament, or just the plain old sky is the source of many weather events across the planet? Come to your own conclusion. Just out of sight behind Bird of Prey, on the back passenger side of the vehicle is another spacecraft entity barely showing its nose or the front. I must say that these entities are very photogenic, they make sure they are in the viewer. As this entity fly, observe along the way a view of the dimensional environment as it follows along. To all content creators and network broadcasters, stop dismissing or removing sections of your footage like this. This image is showing you a glimpse of the interdimensional environment surrounding you at the time that you pass through it or whatever you are capturing. Initially, I assumed that the splatter on the windows was the being expelling a splatter of white substance. I named this event Slime Zapped. A year later, I realized that this event was an opening in our environment, giving us a glimpse of the invisible interdimensional structures that is right in your face at the time. These entities perform amazing transformations. Now that you are aware of what these entities' appearances look like, you can start to detect their presence in your own footage. Listen to this. Initially, I only detected the entity by reviewing footage slowed down to speeds of 1 before I could capture the event. Now a year later, I can see the entity as I record in real time. I can see the entity through the recording device viewer right there. Remove my eyes from the view and see absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. They are making their presence more visible to me only through the recording device. Here, there is about 15 or more spacecrafts escorting me. Some of them are there for the long haul, and others join the convoy and then fall back later on. Now, get ready to see an out-of-this-planet event that I captured. Wow! Amazing! I have named this spacecraft Bird of Prey. Now let's see the environment that it was moving within. This environment is invisible and cannot be seen with our limited visualization. Through persistence and many hours of rendering, you can see the environment in which the spaceship flew and get a close-up view of the ship itself as it interfaced with the infrastructure at each movement. Check out my content. It shows a special kind of flight rods are used to execute flight. Let me mention to you that this is a picture, yes, a picture. I am a senior citizen, and when I was around 9 or so, I used to imagine and pretend that pictures on the pages of books that I was reading or viewing could move. At the age of 68, I am in awe. To be around to visualize this. Absolutely amazing. So, to dismiss any thoughts of the window on the vehicle being dirty, that was not the case, as you will see. The entity structure remained. They could have been within the glass. Check out my content. One of the entities came inside the vehicle and I was able to touch it. Wow. Take note, I can only see these entities through the viewer of the iPad recording device that I used. I must say that initially when I saw the orb entity inside the car, I did not feel threatened. I tried to maintain my composure and breathe as smooth as possible. After a few seconds, I had a thought to touch it, and as you can see, I did. All that I can say is amazing. Check out my content and see other footage similar to this event. Now, view what is concealed inside this distortion field of energy. And see what the entity looks like when it does not activate the distortion field. I have named this entity Klingon. This is what the machinery looks like inside the spaceship. I am always looking for a pilot, and to no avail. There was no entity that I could recognize as a humanoid or just something with a head, nothing. In documented footage, it appears that the vessel is unmanned, no pilot, no crew. Again, check out my content and see inside one of these spacecrafts for yourself. There are too many spacecrafts here to flag them all. I am always provided with a full complimentary escort during my road travels. All of my trips have been safe, no incidents or near misses. Keep watching and take in the views from Massachusetts to Myrtle Beach. Before we get to that strange screen, another entity that I have named Kitetail showed up. I have never seen the true identity of this entity, so let's see what exactly it is. As I observed and rendered clear visuals of the area, I realized that it was an opening in the dimensional environment. Unknown activities appear to be performed, and this appearance was present during the entire road trip and as I move around in the local areas at my destination. This thing always shows up on the center line of the road that separates the lanes, go figure. Look around, view details about the machines that generate the foliage on planet Earth, which is very real to us. I am always surprised and shocked when I encounter a new image, and this one take the cake. It appears to be a huge screen composed of holes that is moving across the sky, keeping pace with my traveling, or was it a normal thing that is done and I just happened to capture the event? But what I can tell you is that I have seen this screen structure before. It is recorded and documented in my content. Now, what I observed was just after a clip of 80+ spacecrafts entering our atmosphere had played, the next picture displayed was an area that I named a compound area. As the footage played, all of a sudden, a screen like this moved over the area and everything under the screen became active, areas recessing and rising, lights coming on, and everything bubbling with activity. The incident would not repeat. Then I noticed a separate file on the timeline, no extension or anything identifying what it was, so to keep from losing it I copied it and pasted it into PowerPoint and saved it as a JPEG file. All of this is documented in my content. Now that you have become somewhat familiar with the entity's presence, you can detect what you may have called anomalies in your footage. Here, take special notice of the trees as we approach and move past. What I see is that the trees are what I refer to as loaded. Loaded with what? Well, initially in my observation I assumed that it was full of UFO entities lassoed underneath the leaves only. Not only was this true as documented in my content, but as you saw for yourself in close-up undeniable views that there is also an undescribable mechanical infrastructure. This replication generator is the source that projects what we see as live foliage, which consist of plants, trees, fruits, vegetables, and all those staples that fall under foliage, and this is across the planet and not in just one location. What an amazing, mind-blowing realization. Whoever created this environment that we visualize daily is an awesome to the highest creator, absolutely out of this world amazing. Another observation about these entities is that when I approach a road sign or go under a bridge, no matter how high they are above, they always drop down and go under a sign and under the bridge, always. Get ready to see what we may call an accident. In this case, it is a UFO accident. So, as this entity led the way, it somewhat became all of a sudden erratic and dropped down from its height and landed under the wheel of the vehicle. Then it popped up a little dazzled, but okay, then it started moving erratic and phasing in and out, and then the posse or a fleet showed up. So, this incident confirms that these entities, quoting Hammer Time, can't touch me. Their technology is untouchable. During the total eclipse, I wanted to get pictures of the sun even though I was not in the line of totality, so I did not see the event. But what I captured was much more exciting than what was telecasted to the population. Those Bailey beads that you heard about in the news that surround the sun, well, I have a clear picture of what that is. And if you have not seen my content titled "The Moon is Occupied," check it out and put the pieces together for yourself and leave a comment. Now, let's take a ride in this dimensional environment and see for your first time what is in it as you travel the roads. As many of you view this sky scene, never once does the word firmament come into your thoughts at all. Myself, when I see this view, I think clouds, sky, and earth, and so on. Now, let me tell you that your thought should be firmament. View my content. UFOs are here and see the horizon line, the line where heaven meets the earth over the ocean in this case. See the biomechanical equipment similar to what you have seen here suck up water from the ocean and process it into what I have named power pebbles. These pebbles are of all colors and sizes, and they are moved to areas within this infrastructure that you are viewing in the sky. And see the magnificent underwater infrastructure that appears to filter the water before entering the firmament infrastructure. Become aware of what these entities look like during hibernation and where they hide. Become aware of their presence and notice the things that have gone unnoticed. See how they interface and connect to us humans. Learn how to spot a human connection in your footage and more. Follow my content. I want to pass on my observations to millennials and Gen Z, this a chance to be heard and make a difference on this planet that we call Earth. You are the ones who can and will maneuver our path forward throughout our futuristic integration. The human physical makeup is being edited, modified, upgraded, call it what you want, but something is happening, and I am only one human with a small voice trying to inform anyone will listen with the truth and undeniable facts. So, stay tuned for more observations and discoveries.